Órale, Cholo Trucker here, los tres chingones boxing shots to all the chingones y chingonas. And here we got Frank Sanchez, who was in the undercard. Well, actually in the prelim fights over the weekend when it came to the Canelo versus Charlo fight. So he wasn't even in the actual pay-per-view undercard. He was in the prelims. He was, I guess you could say he was in the main event when it came to the prelims against Scott Alexander. Somebody I've never heard of before. Um, but here's the thing when it comes to Frank Sanchez. Okay, so apparently he's what, 31 years old or something like that. Now he's from Cuba, so you kind of take that with a grain of salt, I guess. To me, he looks like he's more closer to 40 years old. But hey, who knows, homie? Life probably just hasn't been good to him. Life has been probably rough for the guy. So, but apparently he's 31 years old. All right, now this guy is an undefeated heavyweight fighter. People are saying that he's boring. And I'm not gonna, come on here and say like, "Hey, man, this Vato's very exciting to watch. Keep an eye out on him." No, but I think he is somewhat decent. Do I think he could ever be the guy in the heavyweight division? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not when you got some of these guys like the Tyson Furies, Alexander Usyk. Not when you got those guys in the division. However, however, the fight that he had with Scott Alexander, however you guys want to take that, because it's Scott Alexander, and who the heck is really Scott Alexander? Look, Alexander did rock Sanchez for a second there, right? But Sanchez came back and he stopped Alexander in a pretty good fight, man. I mean, it wasn't boring to watch. I was entertained. I don't want to say, hey man, this is one of the best fights you're gonna see. Nah, Charlie, not even close. But it was a pretty good fight, man. I enjoyed it. Now, here's the thing about Frank Sanchez, homie, that I don't think anybody's pointing out. He's a pretty dirty ass fighter. Just being real, Holmes. The Vato is pretty dirty, dog. Some of his tactics and his antics that he does in the ring, he's kind of a dirty fighter, dog. He's a little sucio, Holmes. So he's definitely gonna be a heel, what you would call in the wrestling world. He'll definitely be the bad guy because of his dirty tactics that he does in the ring. He's over there holding Alexander from behind the head, trying to uppercut him. And the ref kind of let it go on, man. But at some point, then the ref did step in. But I mean, damn, dog, it took him a long time for the ref to step in and give him a warning at the very least, right? Now he did stop Alexander. And look, for what it's worth, I do want to see Frank Sanchez next fight, depending on who it is. Do I believe he should get in there with the likes of Fury or Wilder or Usyk or any of those guys? Nah, not really, dog. I mean, if it happens, it happens. I'm not gonna complain too much, but I think it'd be pretty good seeing him in there, say against somebody like an Andy Ruiz. If Chris the Nightmare Areola wants to step into the ring, yeah, man, I think these matchups would be pretty good. Would these be main event matches? And since it's PBC, we all know that PBC does nothing but pay-per-views. So these would have to be undercard fights on pay-per-views since PBC does nothing but pay-per-views. You cannot have this guy in the main event at any one of your pay-per-views since that's all you do. Now, if you're just to do regular showtime, sure, why not? But since you're doing nothing but pay-per-views, it's gonna have to be an undercard fight. And trying to get Andy Ruiz to be undercard, I'm not sure how well that'll go over with him. But it is a fight that I would like to see. Um, I would like to see him get in there against Chris Arreola for whatever Arreola has left. Um, King Kong Ortiz. These are some pretty good matchups, man, that I would be interested. Now, do not get me wrong, Holmes. Do not get me wrong. If these fights do not take place, that's fine. It's not a must watch for me. I'm not saying like, oh man, they got to make these fights happen. If not, hey, Holmes, boxing is losing out. Nah, chales, dog. I'm just, throwing a little bit out there, seeing what will stick. And I think these will be pretty good matchups for Frank Sanchez. And who knows, man? He might lose. He might lose because I don't think he's all that great, dog. I think he's okay. I think he's decent. And I think it's time, man, to really start giving him some of these other guys. Like I said, even a washed up out of his prime, Chris Arreola. I think that'll be a good matchup. But what do you guys think about Frank Sanchez, man? I don't want to exaggerate and say, hey, we need to care and we need to keep eyes on this guy. Nah, nothing like that. But nonetheless, I think there could be some pretty good, decent matchups as long they're not the pay-per-view. As long as not the pay-per-view. All right. Make it some undercard matchups, man. Cholo Trucker, Los Tres Chingones Boxing. Catch you guys on next round.